fans out there in the internet lands. Welcome to You've Got a Thing, an interview thing about Milwaukee theater things. My name is Jaimelyn Gray. I am the host with some of the mostest. Yeah, that's me. I'm the host of this program. I'm here to bring you some things happening in the Milwaukee Theatre Alliance community, and so henceforth, all of not all of greater Milwaukee, theater things in Milwaukee. Yikes. Can you tell that I'm in production right now? My brain is in 50 different directions, and I do what I can to be an advocate for the art that I love so much, but sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, and time gets a little tight, and my brain gets a little yikes. So today is just kind of one of those days. Today we're here on Thursday, October 2nd is our program for this week, and in a little bit we'll have an interview with one of my favorites, Mr. Michael Unger, who is the artistic director of Skylight Music Theater over there at the Broadway Theater Center in Milwaukee. They are opening Fiddler on the Roof tomorrow night, Friday, October 3rd. That's the day that they're going to make that happen. They are in Tech Wonderland right at this moment in time, taking final dress and all that. So we had a really great conversation. Very excited to share that with you. That show is packed with a lot of people. For one, there's something like 31 cast members or something like that, some crazy number, but also they worked with some other organizations to make the project just a little more special for the community. And so we will talk about that. But first, I want to get to some other things that are happening in the community at the moment that, particularly with the first two things that we're going to talk about, they're closing this weekend, so you need to make that happen. So first, we've got Old Wicked Songs over at Milwaukee Chamber Theater. That's a theatre, a TRE. Old Wicked Songs was 1996 Pulitzer Prize finalist, and it's about a burnt out American prodigy named Stephen Hoffman. He goes to Vienna, desperate to reignite his passion, and instead he finds himself aligned with a teacher whose teaching style may not be his favorite. And so it becomes a story of reckoning, and with identity and memory and hope in a lot of ways. And so there's two wonderful artists involved in that, Brent Rybeck, and I wanted to share because the other artist, because it's a two-person show, the other artist is now the understudy of Jack Forbes Wilson, because the community, we received an email the other day that Jack Forbes Wilson, how did they put this? I just want to read this to you. Milwaukee Chamber Theater joins the Wisconsin arts community today in celebrating the exuberant life and mourning the sudden passing of Jack Forbes Wilson, beloved musician, actor, artist, educator, human. Jack passed while comfortably in hospice care at his home in Lincoln, Nebraska on Monday, September 29th. 1 week following a surprising diagnosis of end-stage pancreatic cancer. And I personally did not know this artist. I had never met him, but that just really came out of just from being an artist in the community and receiving that email and knowing that his understudy, Steve Watts, had gone on for him on opening night, actually. And then this was what came of that journey, is just really, really shocking and sad. And so I just wanted to share that with you. But by all accounts, Mr. Watts has done an amazing job picking up the torch and carrying on. And that's just a shout out to understudies and the work that they do. And he's a fantastic musician, and had to pick up all the musicianship that goes with that role as well. So this weekend is the last chance that you'll be able to see that. They only have a few shows left, so you can go to Milwaukee Chamber Theatre, that's a TRE.org, to get more information and get tickets for that production. And it's just a lovely 2-person show about musicians, and you should go and see it if you can. And so the next thing that we have, which is also closing this weekend, is Sanctuary City by Martina Mayak, directed by Jake Penner. I had a You've Got a Thing mini from Jake Penner a couple weeks ago, and so you can go back in our episodes and check for that little episode with Jake Penner. I just saw Sanctuary City yesterday. I saw the matinee yesterday, and it's one of those shows that really shows you what the amazing things that you can do with a bare stage. And so I highly encourage you to go and see this particular show that focuses on just 3 actors doing what we do on stage. And the story is that it's post 9/11 Newark, New Jersey, and 2 teenagers who were brought to America as children now face the impossible question: what are they willing to risk for a future in the only country they've ever known? And the story goes through I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but they come up with a plan to help one of the dreamers stay. But it focuses on the complications that come through trying to stay in a country that has rules and a path for citizenship that sometimes can be challenging. And so it takes place in Newark, New Jersey, like I said, and it's a really interesting concept and a really interesting show. I think that you should check it out if you have the time to do that. I'd like to, so you're gonna have to map out your weekend this weekend, because you've got Old Wicked Songs closing and you've got Sanctuary City closing. So, and we're at Thursday, so make it happen, folks. Make it happen. But for Sanctuary City, you can go to nextact.org for that. If you're an artist, they do offer artist tickets. You just have to ask the box office for that, and they will get you in there. Always great when the community supports the community. And so nextact.org for that show, Sanctuary City. Next we have the amazing, the fantastic, the epic Interchange Theater Co-op, who has all the improv that you could possibly ever need every weekend, and this weekend is no different. So they've got shows Friday and Saturday, and for Friday they've got Rivertown and Swift Prov. I'm sure you can probably guess where Swift Prov is based in, calling all Swifties an enchanting night of improv based on randomly selected Taylor Swift songs and stories from audience members. Super fun. So you can check that out at Interchange Theater. That's at TER.com for what's going on over at Interchange. And tonight, Thursday nights, they do have an open mic. Check the schedule, because sometimes they actually have events, but I didn't see any events this week, so I'm assuming they have open mic today. Check that out. October 2nd. That's what we're talking about. Go try out your stuff, people. Go try out your stuff at Interchange Theater. They'll take you and put you on stage and let you go and speak your mind and be funny. That is the hope. Yes. Maybe I'll do that someday. Probably not. But just putting it out into the universe in case the universe says, yeah, you need to go and do some open mic. Yeah. So check that out. If you're into the improv thing, and even if you're not, improv is, and it's like $10, it's their Saturday show is $10. How can you say no? So you've got to try and navigate 2 shows closing and some improv. That's what you've got this week. But also we have, I like to point out some national event, recognitions, that some monthly observances that we have. It's Hispanic Heritage Month right now, and it's observed from September 15th to October 15th, and it's a time to celebrate the cultural roots and an occasion for people of all backgrounds to learn and appreciate and celebrate the rich tapestry of Hispanic and Latino cultures. They've certainly left their mark on the field of art, for sure, but also music and literature, science, politics, education, the whole gamut. And their legacy is not only a source of pride for those who share the heritage, but also an inspiration for all of us to recognize the power of diversity and sharing in shaping our shared humanity. And I think a good website to check that out is the National Education Association. That's NEA.org. Check that out. Learn some things. The next we have, it's National Disability Employment Awareness Month. It also observed in October and celebrates the value and talent that workers with disabilities add to the workforce and economy, and highlights inclusive employment policies and raises awareness of the barriers that people with disabilities might face. And this month encourages businesses and organizations to participate by implementing disability education programs and creating more inclusive workspaces year-round. I'm excited to say and let you know that the playwright for the play that We the Constructivists, my company, are doing right now, Bed and Breakfast of the Damned, the playwright Cameron McNary is very open about his diagnosis of being on the autism spectrum, and so it's been a great opportunity to navigate, his neurodivergent brain and go through a world premiere script process with someone on the autism spectrum, and it just makes for a better community when you can, and I know this from experience, when you can invite people into your spaces from all different backgrounds. It just makes things better. It just does. I have seen it. I have seen it in my own life. So for National Employee Disability National Disability Employment Awareness Month. I would go and check out the National Down Syndrome Society website. They seem to have some really good resources to talk about this particular month in general. I encourage you to go over there and check it out. Cool. ndss.org. Do that. Then we have the Filipino American History Month. I read about this and I thought this was really interesting, that Filipino American History Month, FAHM, is celebrated every October to honor the history and achievements and cultural contributions of Filipino Americans. The month was first introduced by Filipino Americans by the Filipino American National Historical Society in 1992 and recognized by Congress in 2009. So they fought for, almost, what is that? Almost 20 years to have this be a recognized holiday, or a recognized observance. And the FAHM, the Filipino American Historical Month, commemorates the landing of the first Filipinos, the landing of the first Filipinos, known as Luzones Indios, in Morro Bay, California. And this is the date that they give, is October 18th of 1587. I want to see the piece of paper or whatever historical content they have that gives the date of 1587 that they know the first Filipinos came to California. I think that's so cool. It's just so cool. But you can go to the Filipino American Historical Society website. You can go to fanhs-national.org to check out some Filipino American history. I think that's just a cool thing to check out and learn a little bit about something else in your life. Yeah. And then finally, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I think I'll go ahead and let you know that I recently experienced my first ever mammogram. It was an interesting experience. It's not as bad as it's not as bad as maybe in the past, and the nursing assistant did explain to me that systems have gotten better, and the whole procedure has gotten better to make the whole process of mammogram to make it better for the patient. And so it wasn't as bad as what I've heard of in the past. I highly encourage you that if your doctor tells you you are of a certain age and it is time for you to get a mammogram, you should go and get a mammogram. And that's just, the same with Mr. Jack Forbes Wilson passing and things. And I've had many illnesses surrounding my life lately. I think that it just behooves us that if we can get to, if you have the privilege to go and see your doctor, a doctor, for your yearly physical and all of that, I think just it's worth it. It's worth it to try and stay on top of your health. I think it's worth it. And that's just coming from, my own personal place of people being diagnosed with things out of nowhere as of late. And it's just keep up on it. Go see your GP, your general practitioner, and get a mammogram if they tell you that you need one, and But you can go to breastcancer.org for that, for some information on how to get screenings and the search for a cure and all of that. So that's what we have this week for observances this week, and the other shows that are happening. And it's good to keep your mind on cool educational things, and keep your brain on some art when there's sometimes some big chaoses in the world that we can't control. And so, yeah, so that's what we got. So let's get to that interview with Mr. Michael Unger, shall we? He is the artistic director of the Skylight Music Theater, and he is the director of Fiddler on the Roof that is opening tomorrow, October 3rd. So I hope you check that out. And here is that interview right now. Okay, and today we have the most amazing Mr. Michael Unger of Skylight Music Theater with us. You are currently in the hell of tech. It is real. Dress rehearsals, all of it.
I actually love tech rehearsals. I don't think it's hell. I think it's so fun because you put all the things together. It's like what you dream of when you first dream up a show, right?
Yes, but I don't know. I'm a glass half empty person, so mine
True.
is always like there is something that's going to go wrong, and it's just gonna be.
Oh, sure, plenty goes wrong, but that's the art. That's the art, negotiating all that. Anyway, yeah, we just had our first dress rehearsal last night. We opened Friday. It's a massive show. I dreamed it really big when I thought it up, and we're honoring this beautiful, incredible, one of the greatest musicals ever written, with a almost entirely local cast and some really great partnerships, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Yes, I'm very excited to talk about this because you have so much going on with this particular production, and it's epic and just amazing, and I am in awe of the massive project that this is. As we just went through our first designer run last night, and I was like, man, 6 people is a lot of people.
We have 31 on stage, and I don't know, maybe 20 backstage. It's big. And it's a great team. Everyone's working so hard and making this very beautiful gift to Milwaukee of this show.
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear about it. Well, first let's talk a little bit about Skylight, because we have to, because we don't know who's listening, and so tell me a little bit about Skylight Music Theater.
Well, this is our 66th season.
Wow.
Of doing musicals, operas, all music, all types of music theater. We've even done some plays that have live music. And it's, I'm told we are the jewel of the Third Ward. It's a beautiful venue. The Cabot Theater in the Broadway Theater Center is one of the most beautiful theaters I've ever seen anywhere. And you walk in and it is jaw-droppingly beautiful. And we're lucky to have you next door sometimes. So MCT is next door right now doing Old Wicked Songs, which closes, I think, Sunday. And you'll be in right after that. So we're happy to have you back in the building. But Skylight, I inherited a wonderful legacy of incredible work and focusing most on local artists, and really ambitious, a mission that, I tend to like large musicals, and somehow we pull them off.
Yes, I have witnessed such pullings off. So yeah, yes, so that's that. And can you, because time means nothing anymore.
When you're opening on Friday, it means a lot.
That's real. But what?
Oh, by the way, that's 2 days from now. Friday is 2 days from now.
It is. It's Wednesday. Yeah, we're recording this on Wednesday. Oh, it's going to be awesome. Don't even pretend to me that it's not going to be
sellout crowd. We're excited.
Yes. But how many years is it now that you've been artistic director over there?
6. Although a year and a
That's
half
what
of
I'm.
that was pandemic. So, 4.5
But you
really.
navigated this massive organization
Yeah, I
through
was fortunate.
pandemic.
Yeah, I was fortunate to have work throughout the whole thing, and we kept planning seasons and replanning and unplanning and doing virtual this and that. And
Yes.
we listen. We're here on StreamYard because we learned how to do that during that time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
There was a positive aspect to that.
maybe
If
one.
if
Yeah,
if only that we can do something like this and get the word out to the masses. Yes. But so Fiddler on the Roof is for the first show of the season. Yes?
it is correct. Yep. Yep.
Yes, this is your opening production of the
Yes,
of the 2025-26 season. Um
correct.
uh of super familiar piece of work, even to those of us who are not so music theater inclined.
It's one of those few
It's
shows I think that no one in the world doesn't know. In fact, they say that there has never been a day since 1964 when it opened on Broadway that Fiddler has not played somewhere in the world. Not one day. And
wow.
there's a great quote, Lin-Manuel Miranda. There's a beautiful documentary about Fiddler called Miracle of Miracles, or A Miracle of Miracles. And Lin-Manuel Miranda goes to visit Joe Stein, who's the book writer, one of the great book writers of all time on Broadway. And he tells us, Joe Stein relates a story where they were in Japan for the Japanese production, or a Japanese production of Fiddler. And one of the producers stopped mid-intermission and said, "Does this play in America?" And Joe Stein said, "Why do you ask?" And the Japanese producer said, "Because it's such a Japanese story." So it is so universal. If you've ever had a mother or a father, or were a daughter or a son, it's about you. It really does cover family and tradition, and actually more than tradition, it's about change, really, and the frustrations of squaring the traditional life with the life your children, Tevye's daughters, are trying to expand and change the world with. And it's just an incredible story. And Andrew Varela, my partner in art here, Susan Varela's husband, is playing Tevye. My wife is playing Golda. And it's a wonderful role for both of them, but Andrew especially
Yes.
it really is a great fit for him. And to watch his journey on this is just, you got to come and see it. It's really incredible. That's one of many, many reasons to come and see that show. Janet's another.
Yes.
31 Cast of 31 is another, and then we'll talk about the other 2 other great reasons as well, I'm sure.
Yes,
Is it
yes.
time? Is it time?
I we will get I do. I have to say, Mr. Varela and your wife are two of my favorite performers over
Oh,
there at
thank you.
Skylight. When you can get them on stage,
Mine too.
they're just really awesome to watch,
And
and
they've never played together, and to
yeah.
watch these 2 comic and emotional geniuses work with each other is really a blast. They're having a great time together, and to watch them craft a laugh is like a masterclass in comedy. That's great.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I often refer to, like, I'll ask my artists at the Constructivists, when they go and see things. I was like, did you see Janet Metz? Did you see her? Did you watch her work? Because if that is life goals, is to watch and learn, because she does masterclass work all the time.
Well, thank you. That's very kind. It's true, and not I have nothing to do with it. She's just incredibly talented, but she is truly masterclass in breaking your heart and making you laugh at the same time. And in this show, she certainly does that. It's the full range. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. We're lucky to have her in Milwaukee when she can be here, for sure.
Well, I'm lucky
Um,
too. So
yes, and you are lucky too. Yes, yes. But yes, so in addition to it just being a great story, you have some two big partnerships happening with this show. Can you talk a little bit about all the Marquette
sure.
students
So the
that you have
first the
going
first
on?
partnership is with Marquette University. Jamie Cheatham, the head of the program there, and I were chatting. He's a frequent fight director for us. He did the fights in this show actually, and this musical has such incredible roles for people in the college age group. I love casting age appropriate, and And I thought, let's see if we can involve Marquette students and give them professional credit before they even get out of college. Some freshmen, freshman to senior, there are how many? Half our cast, I think 14, 14 or 15, yeah, it's 15 Marquette students who are still in class, doing schoolwork every day, taking their tests, doing their finals, preparing for what they do there, auditioning for shows there, but they're also on our stage playing, great roles in this musical. That's been wonderful. And they also, my friend Yehuda Hyman is our choreographer. And when I thought of Fiddler, actually, how do we get to Fiddler? Linda Edelstein from MISO, Milwaukee Youth Symphony Orchestra, that is presenting the next partnership we'll talk about, Violins of Hope, called Susan and said, we are doing this initiative with Violins of Hope. Can you think of a musical that could involve a stringed instrument? And of course, Fiddler was Fiddler. But anyway, but it was such a great match for the Marquette students. And my friend Yehuda Hyman was the only one I could think of to record this. He came out from New York. It was actually kind of funny. He was brushing his teeth one morning and thinking to himself, pondering, will there not be a Yehuda Hyman Fiddler in the world? Because he had not choreographed it yet, and he had choreographed many of the Jewish-themed musicals. We did a musical called Milk and Honey together at the York Theatre, where I was before, Skylight. Anyway, so literally 10 minutes after he pondered if there'd ever be a Yehuda Hyman Fiddler, I called him and said, would you like to choreograph Fiddler? I mean that is true. Anyway, so Yehuda, he said, the only way I can do it is if I get 3 weeks of pre-production. So the students participated in this 3-week pre-production workshop where Yehuda sort of crafted the dances on them. And it was incredibly useful for Yehuda. And also when they stepped into rehearsal, most of the kids in the show knew the choreography already. So, but they were so dedicated and were so supportive of one another. Even from the auditions, they walked in with such love for their colleagues, which was so beautiful to see. And they're great in the show. It's just been such a joy to have them working with pros, and so excited to be on the Cabot stage and see that beautiful theater and have all the professional accoutrements that go with a big production. So they're very, very excited. But back to Violins of Hope. So Violins of Hope was an organization started by 3 generations of luthiers, violin makers in Israel, and now they have a workshop in Istanbul. And the primary craftsmen were Amnon and Avshalom Weinstein, a father and son team. And they reached out to anyone who might have a stringed instrument that had been played by Jewish prisoners in the Holocaust and survived the Holocaust. And Avshalom, who was the only surviving member of this family, of the 3 luthiers, was here a couple of weeks ago presenting the violins. MISO, Milwaukee Youth Symphony Orchestra, is presenting this residency, which is a huge undertaking. And around 60 arts organizations across the state are participating in Violins of Hope, Wisconsin.
Wow.
It's really incredible. So, MCT has, I think, one of the instruments, displayed on their show, and they recorded a track with that. But we actually have the 2 violins in the show. One played by Pamela Simmons in the pit, and the one played by our fiddler on stage are Violins of Hope violins, survived the Holocaust when many, many people, of course, didn't. And Amnon Weinstein, in a documentary about Violins of Hope, talks about how these instruments are speaking for and praying for those who are not able to anymore. It speaks about how they represent hope, because music did survive and many people did survive. And Avshalom, his son, who was here, just spoke beautifully about every one of these instruments. There are about 100 instruments, all violins except for 1 viola and 1 cello. And he spoke about how there were arts every day, or there was an art activity daily in multiple arts activities in the camps, from concerts to plays to readings to poetry to art, visual art, to remind them that they were still human. So these things come with such power and resonance. And, we have, these are the 2 violins that are being played in our show, the Barnea violin and the Sander Fischer violin. We also have 2 additional violins on display, one that was actually created in a Polish concentration camp out of raw materials. It was not sort of a standard shape, and the wood was not standard. they think it was created in duress, obviously, in a camp and sort of crafted by whatever means they could. So again, 100 stories just like this of each of these instruments, and it's so magnificently powerful. I'm going to Yom Kippur services tonight, and Violins of Hope violins will be playing the Kol Nidre tonight, which is one of the one of the most beautiful prayers that we experience in the Jewish faith. So it's powerful. It's resonating throughout, and it's just thank you to MISO for doing this. It's because again, it's a huge undertaking to manage them and to sponsor them and to make displays and keep them safe. And it's a really special opportunity and an honor to be part of it, and to see those instruments up on our stage is just, it's incredible. So.
I cannot even it's so massive. It's just so large and just really, I don't know, like it just, even hearing about it is powerful. Do you know what I mean? I can't even imagine seeing them every day, or tonight going to your services. Like, how are you just not going to not bawl the whole time listening to all of that?
There's been a lot of crying every time Shalom would tell us a story about an instrument and literally hand it to us, and we held it in our hands. And what these instruments, I'm going to go now, what these instruments have seen, and the stories they hold within that lumber, within that beautiful wood that we can't know because so many perished. Yeah, it's sometimes you go into the theater because you love to tell stories this way, and sometimes it transcends, the work transcends what you ever could have imagined you could do, because something like this connects. Or my work in Newtown, it transcends anything you can imagine, because it has such a powerful resonance, and it allows theater to help tell these stories that would not otherwise be told. And not that sitting in the audience watching Fiddler, you're going to know what where that violin had been, or what it had been through, or what it had seen. We certainly have information about the violins in the program and stuff, but just that they are part of this telling is so huge. And Violins of Hope instruments have never been used in a production of Fiddler before, Avshalom told us. Yeah. So it keeps piling on more and more meaning. And it's also a really important way to teach the importance of theater to young theater artists,
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so profound. I could talk for hours about just that one aspect of it.
Yeah, no, I love that you are doing that, and that in and of itself is a gift to humanity, and that's why art is so important, and it does facilitate discussions like this, and having that information in your program and things like that, whereas otherwise people wouldn't know. I think that's just wonderful and amazing.
And again,
it's so great.
We usually pick the shows that our theater does, but in this case the show picked us, because Linda from MISO called Susan and said, what do you think? And Susan's like, Fiddler, so it was one of the easier decisions we ever made, honestly, but a perfect fit.
That's so great. That's so great. Just a side anecdote. I had the opportunity to go to Poland in January of this year, and we stayed long enough that one of the things that I needed to experience in my life was going to Auschwitz. And I just, from a human standpoint, if you ever have the opportunity to do that, you should do that. Like, it's just one of those things that if you have the chance in your lifetime to make that happen, you need to do that. And just that part, that just saying how, even though that people were going through that horrible experience, that they were still able to create art and music and all of that to keep us human is just so powerful and amazing.
And there were other stories like people that said they wanted to burn or destroy their instrument because of how they were forced to use it. And Amnon and Avshalom said, no, please let us curate, let us take care of these instruments for you and put them to better use. And they're not supposed to be museum pieces. They're supposed to be played. They've been played by young students and professional orchestras and, the whole range of musicians, so that they keep speaking, they keep singing, they keep praying.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Oh, so great. I'm so just in awe. Just in awe.
Well, listen, I'm in awe too. And, this came to us in such a natural, organic way. The bulk of the work, of course, is MISO putting this all together.
Sure.
So it's we're fortunate to be part of it.
Kudos to them. Kudos to them for facilitating. That's awesome. So I mean, what else can you say? Everybody should go and see this show. If not for Andrew and Janet, if not for the awesome Marquette students getting, some of them, their first professional experience, go for the Violins of Hope. Go for the just musical that everybody knows, even if you've never seen it, music from it. Just.
Also, I have to say this. Sorry to interrupt. I have to say this, though.
No worries.
So Yehuda's choreography is stunning and just perfect for the show, as I knew it would be. But there's a very famous bottle dance that was choreographed by the original director choreographer Jerome Robbins, who is one of Yehuda's heroes, all of our heroes. One of the best Broadway choreographer directors ever. And so there are 105 seconds of the show that are not Yehuda's choreography, and that is Jerome Robbins inspired bottle dance. And in many productions, they use tricks and magnets and Velcro. In our production, these Marquette students who are not professional dancers use no magnets, no Velcro, just bottles on top of hats. It is incredible. It is precarious, but so is being a fiddler on a roof.
So go
Come for
just
that.
for that.
Yes, it's really, these kids are they're so dedicated, and like it's nothing. They just from day one, they were able to keep those things on their heads. Like, it was crazy. I was blown away in rehearsal, like that. It just happened that way. So.
And I just love that experience that you're giving to them, because that's going to make them theater fans for the rest of their lives. Just that one experience is something that you can hold so close to your heart when you're in your early 20s and you're getting your professional credit. I still remember my first professional credit like that. Like, that's so powerful. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Yay. Yep. I'm so excited. I have never seen Fiddler on the Roof. I've never seen it. So this will be my first experience.
It's a great design team. The set is really interesting. There are maybe 3 big surprises that I won't give away that are...
Don't do it.
Yeah, each one I think is worth the price of admission. We came up with some really fun tricks and surprises, and yeah, it's a great team, and I'm very lucky to have that much support from so many incredibly talented people who work so hard to make these things happen.
Yes, as can be said for all of Milwaukee theater, that we work so hard to bring that art to people. Yes. Well, Mr. Unger, thank you so much for all the intel today. It's gonna be great. So if people want to go and get their tickets right now, because you open on Friday.
And it's sold out. A lot of shows are sold out already, actually.
Because it's Fiddler on the Roof.
Because of Fiddler on the Roof, yeah.
You can go to smtmke.org to get your tickets now.
Or call the box office.
Or call the box office.
414-291-7800. Operators are standing by, starting at noon.
Asterisk at noon, yes. Because that's the theater life. Yes, nothing happens until noon. Just kidding. Okay. But thank you so much, Sarah, for all of your time, and one of my favorite guests on this program, because
Oh, my pleasure.
you bring it all. You bring it all.
Thank
And
you.
if I don't talk to you, have a great opening.
Thank you very much.
There you go. There you have it. Michael Unger. Such a knowledgeable human artist being. I always have such a great time talking to him. I think he's got interesting things to say and knows a lot of stuff, and so it just feels nice to learn from him. So yeah, so go and see Fiddler, y'all. Go and do that. That is gonna open tomorrow night, and then they'll be off. So I hope you get a chance to see it. That's all we have. That's what I got for this week. That's where we stand for now. I did put a schedule out on the internet to let people know what is coming up in the coming weeks. We got Skylight this week. We're gonna talk to, speaking of Disability Employment Month, we've got Pink Umbrella Theater coming up next week. One of my favorite companies in Milwaukee. They put a focus on and have the intention to build productions that are built by disabled persons and make that company run by disabled persons. And we're changing the narrative by changing the narrator, which I think is just so awesome and smart. So they put a cohort together, and so we're going to talk to Pink Umbrella next week about the cohort they put together and the stories that they're telling, and it's going to be awesome. And so I hope you join us next week when we talk to Pink Umbrella Theater on You've Got a Thing. I'm going to come up with a theme song one of these days, guys. It's going to happen. All right. Have a great, enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, bye.